All right, welcome back to Frontline Insights. I'm Bill Brandt, and we're still here at Interop, New York City, 2011. Just having a great time here, day number 2. I'm here with the VP of Marketing, Steve Shalita, and he is the VP of Marketing for NetScout, a hot and emerging technology company.
How you doing,
Welcome to
Bill?
the show, Steve. Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So it was great seeing you in some of the panel discussions and listening to some of your thoughts on where the industry's going a little bit. Why don't you just tee our audience up a little bit? Tell us quickly about NetScout and a little bit about yourself as well.
Sure. So NetScout is a 27-year-old company actually focused on network and application performance management. Really what we have defined as service delivery management in helping IT organizations address user experience challenges and performance related issues from a network and an application perspective. We're used to really do two key things. One, identify emerging problems and understand how performance and user experience is evolving with the services running. And the second is to actually go and pinpoint the root cause and solve those problems. And we're fairly well known from the standpoint of troubleshooting and problem resolution, both from a NetScout perspective and Network General, the sniffer technologies that we acquired about 3.5 years ago. But really we've evolved significantly around early warning and identifying problems before large numbers of users are impacted, both from an application perspective, but also most recently from a unified communications and a security perspective.
Yeah, so NetScout's been around for a long time, but it seems, more interest of late, a little bit hotter on the radar. Do you think that has something to do with your relationship with Cisco, or just the focus on monitoring some of these technologies? Why do you think NetScout is getting more play these days?
Well, I think the underlying driver is a significant shift in the IT organization's view as they look at everything as a service today. The movement really has been from network management types of things being an afterthought and a secondary kind of purchase from today's IT organizations to becoming a top-level, top 5 issue, according to Gartner and IDC and Yankee and a number of analysts. It's really shifted in that user experience, and this whole network that's being put in place in the applications needs to run well to drive productivity, to enable business operations. So because of that, being able to be more proactive in managing service quality has really become a hot topic today.
Yeah. And so what's new and exciting at NetScout? Anything on the horizon here in terms of new technologies or new direction, or what do you think NetScout's role is in this evolving industry that we're playing in?
Well, in general, from a service delivery management perspective, looking at all services that are pervasively being deployed in the enterprise is where we're focused. What we brought into our product line within the past, say, 12, 18 months has been actually very exciting things with our Ingenious Service Delivery Manager product, giving IT organizations an ability to understand services holistically end-to-end and how that's affecting really service delivery and user experience, to being able to do analysis into application performance across the network. What we introduced at Interop in April in Las Vegas was a unified communications module within our portfolio that focuses on IP telephony, video conferencing, telepresence, streaming video, which is a very significant emerging technology.
Yeah.
Voice in and of itself doesn't create a huge bandwidth challenge, but it is impacted very easily by other applications. But conversely, video has huge impacts on the network, and the network can have huge impacts from a performance perspective. So I think focusing on a more holistic way of looking at services in really network performance, application performance, the performance of unified communication services and cybersecurity within this common framework is what we're focused on. And doing that, you mentioned Cisco earlier, leveraging Cisco and our relationship with Cisco, where we've actually integrated appliance technology, what typically was an appliance, a device put on the network to do this monitoring, into the Cisco Integrated Services Router, which not only addresses some significant challenges for the users as far as removing the cost burden and the operational burden of putting appliances, it's a huge opportunity to the reseller community, especially those that are representing Cisco today, because this is something that now integrates, and it's a unique unique capability, not only for NetScout, but for Cisco as well, integrates and adds more value to the integrated services router. So when you think of the G2 platform, much more value, much more compelling nature in the ISR. I'll give you an example of a customer we just talked to not that long ago in Toronto that was on the fence as far as making an upgrade move to the new G2s. They had a number of the first generation ISRs deployed, and they were really looking for validation to management of why to make that investment for new routers so quickly. They were looking really to kind of stretch them out for the next 2-3 years until the product actually goes into support. By integrating the monitoring technology into the router, that was something that was compelling to the business to actually accelerate that refresh, that upgrade. So not only did the reseller involved pick up the monitoring revenue, which can be very substantial, it was leveraged to drive a much earlier refresh on the ISR platforms.
Yeah, so great segue. You talk about the channel, you talk about solution providers, integrators, resellers. Obviously that's a big part of what we're trying to do, is educate the channel on how they can take advantage of these new technologies, move to that trusted business advisor status where they're a key member at the table at their end user customers. But I know the channel is a big part of NetScout's go-to-market. Why don't you tell us a little bit about where the channel fits in your go-to-market strategy and how important they are to you?
Well, in many cases, channel partners, channel integrators provide a tremendous value to their customers. They're building out network solutions, integrating applications and network to deliver these holistic solutions. And as service management becomes a much more critical item to the IT organization, it's a natural extension to most resellers' business to go in and offer a service management solution along with the primary core solution they're building out. And that could add, many percents of incremental revenue opportunity, millions of dollars in a large-scale deployment that not only adds to their bottom line, but provides a much more complete solution to the end user that they're selling to. So for NetScout, we see channel partners really as being key to helping us drive integration, helping us discover opportunities to insert into accounts, because there's so much in the front, especially when you look at most of the networking equipment vendors and hardware infrastructure vendors are relying on the channel themselves. So it becomes very natural as an add-on to their overall solution offering.
Is there any particular market areas that are emerging for you as better targets than others? There's a lot of talk around healthcare or government, or pick an industry that maybe has better opportunity for NetScout, or is it really across the board as horizontal, and it really just depends on who's looking for the types of delivery mechanisms that you guys can provide?
Well, there are definitely industries that are more relevant than others. Most of that ties back to fundamental foundation here is a high reliance and dependence upon IT, information technology. Those organizations that are heavily invested and leverage IT technology as the way they run their business makes more relevance. So in those environments such as healthcare, where not only patient lives are at stake, but doctor productivity is an issue. In the Canada market, in the consolidation activities that are happening in the new shared services model that's being put in place by the Canadian government, which has fairly broad-reaching impact. Manufacturing environments, financial services. Most organizations that have a high dependence on IT typically fall within probably 5 or 6 typical industries. Projects or particular initiatives within an IT organization is also a major driver. Data center consolidation, virtualization projects are big opportunities to look at, because, and Zia's talked about this in the panel yesterday from Yankee Group, more and more organizations are leveraging virtualized technology, not only in the server environment to the desktop. This creates huge challenges from a management perspective, because so much of application inner workings become invisible as they sit inside these virtualized servers. Cloud has an impact on that. So we see data center consolidation, data center shared service models, such as with what's happening in the Canadian government, unified communications activities, cloud activities, really driving this kind of investment.
So I really can't let this interview go by without asking about cloud. You brought up cloud. What is NetScout's role in some of these new cloud and strategies, and obviously a lot of buzz around cloud, and is it private, is it public, and where does the channel fit? Do you have any thoughts on NetScout's role first of all, and how the channel might be able to work with you guys in that?
Well, and tying back to the point we discussed earlier, when you think about the new branch, right, and think of what Cisco is doing with the integrated services router, more and more services are becoming distributed. Cisco's looking to enable you to bring those into the branch with what they've done with service virtualization, but thinking in that context, cloud services now come directly to branch and remote locations without ever hitting the data center. So first and foremost, coming back to that core visibility strategy and how you manage services is critical, because applications are really, let me restate that, services are really multiple applications. And what's going to happen in the future is that application is going to become more blended, or service is going to become more blended. Parts of it will sit in your data center, parts of it will sit in the cloud environment, and at a user perspective, they only care about the service they're consuming, not where it's coming from. IT team has to manage that, and where NetScout helps is being able to help them understand all services, all performance, all issues in that network from the remote location to the data center. Where we're looking really is extending that with some technology that we introduced about 1.5 years ago, is this ability to measure performance of applications in the cloud. And so we have a 4 kind of phase strategy focused in the cloud environment. One is really enabling cloud operators to manage their data center environment just like an enterprise would within their data center, so in their private cloud. So you need this infrastructure, they need to manage cloud services. Second phase that we see is the cloud operator can then start delivering performance metrics back to their customers, whether it be through portals or report environments. The third phase of that will be the cloud operator can start delivering that enterprise metrics real time from the cloud. Using our adaptive session intelligence technology, they'll actually be able to deliver very targeted tenant information so that the enterprise is pulling data from the cloud data center, pulling metrics from their data center, and looking at it holistically end to end. And the fourth phase of that will be, because we have a very substantial footprint in the service provider environment, virtually, or in fact every service provider in North America, in Canada, and the US use our technology for service assurance in their mobile networks, is to be able to pull data from the WAN, from the network that's transporting this, to give you a true end-to-end view from the cloud data center through the transport network into the enterprise environment, so you truly get a view of blended services.
Exciting stuff. And the channel's role in that?
Channel's role is many channel operators are providing integration and services to the cloud providers, right? Not just the big telcos, yeah, but the hundreds of cloud providers out there. So it's yet another opportunity for them to go in and provide integration and solution services to them, and ultimately being able to provide a connection, right? So there's an opportunity to forge an alliance with cloud providers that they've put in monitoring technology. With enterprises, they're trying to sell monitoring technology to link it together, to differentiate themselves. Because the cloud's going to struggle with, the channel is going to struggle with monetizing cloud services, right? And you look at one of the larger channel companies, Dimension Data, who's now venturing into delivering their own cloud services. How can they take that and bring it to a broader state? Well, many of the other channel companies are thinking about, how can I do more to add value to my offerings to customers? Foundationally, performance management and managing user experience becomes a huge differentiator.
Yeah, that's a great point, and a great point to segue our conversation here and bring it to a close. I think there's a lot of great things coming out of NetScout. I look forward to more great things, but as you just said, there's opportunity working with NetScout to provide those services to end users, to monitor those applications, make sure they're getting the reliability and the service levels they need, and hopefully provide more profitable business as they continue to grow in 2011 and into 2012. So Steve, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate the opportunity to join you.
I appreciate it too. Thank you.